Well, Indiana's largest Amish-style family restaurant is located in Middlebury, right here in Elkhart County. And get this, Das Dutchman Essenhouse's restaurant can seat more than 1,100 diners. The sprawling campus also offers a home-style bakery with more than 30 varieties of pie, 6 gift shops and stores, an inn, conference center, theater, and a wholesale food operation. Well, welcome back to this special edition of Inside Indiana Business in Elkhart Town Hall, coming to you from the RVMH Hall of Fame and Museum in Bristol. Our in-depth discussion on Elkhart continues with a new panel of insiders. Pleased to be joined now by Elkhart Mayor Tim Neese, also Community Foundation of Elkhart County President Pete McCown, and Insight Strategic Concepts founder and president Shelley Moore. And welcome one and all to the Insiders. And Mayor, I'll start with you. We've been talking a lot about individual big projects, the River District and other big projects in and around Elkhart. Give us your take on economic activity and the economy in Elkhart, because I know there's been a lot of activity here in the last couple of years.
The economy is very good. It's actually at an all-time high. In 2017, we saw approximately $144 million in investment, or it was existing businesses that wanted to expand, and we're on pace right now to exceed 2017.
Wow. What's driving it, do you think?
Well, I think it's about, this is a good city and good county to live in. We have a lot going for us, even as we've talked about previously in the 10 years prior to now, when we were seeing a decline in the economy. Businesses remained. Businesses were not going to be leaving. They wanted to weather the storm. And so I think when we have good times here, they're extremely good and competitive.
Shelley, as you look at kind of, again, some of the reasons behind the resurgence, so we were talking off camera about the public-private partnership that is really formed and is driving that. So it's not just one or the other, it's a partnership that is formed. Absolutely.
The Community Foundation has really driven from dating back to the Aquatic Center. When we had a crisis of a YMCA that had closed, and we really needed to pull together a group of people on both the private and public pieces that would make it happen, and it happened. And since we have the city engaged in $30 million of investment, we have the River District with an estimated $300 million of investment, and it really doesn't stop there. With industrial revitalization projects and things like that, all of those really being driven ultimately by the private sector.
So do you think the Aquatic Center can be that spark in downtown Elkhart?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because we traveled around to a number of cities throughout the country, and it seems to be the formula that it starts with something sports related. We've seen that in a lot of communities. So yeah, I mean, if you can imagine this place of wellness where people are able to go work out, have a common space to gather along the river and the parks that are there, but then they're living there. I mean, we know that there's a demand for housing with the amount of people that are commuting and not really living here. So we're immediately off the bat in the next 3 to 5 years trying to get 1,000 units of rented housing immediately surrounding the Aquatic Center.
Talk about the engagement and what the foundation is doing to help drive the economy, and I know you're a facilitator, convener, if you will, to get things happening.
That's the way we see our contribution to all of this work. So the local economic development organization in the city and the various not-for-profit organizations, they're doing their thing and they've got great ideas. And often the question becomes, who's involved and how are we going to pay for this? And we have the privilege of adding both human capital as well as financial capital to make good ideas occur. You know, I would say, Shelley, I think that the Aquatic Center plays this role, and no question that sports-related activity and amenity is important. But I would actually argue that the renovation of the Lerner Theater 8 or 10 years ago and the construction of the Indiana University Elkhart campus both set the stage, and that this Aquatic Center will be a critical complement to that. I've talked about the theater being the living room and the Aquatic Center being the rec room or the family room of a holistic home.
Shelley, talk about diversification in the economy. Lots of communities are facing that here. Focus on certainly on RV, manufacturing. How important and what's being done to really look at diversifying in some other areas like the life sciences and some of those areas?
Of the top 18 core industries, 17 of them are RV related. And of course, in the past, we've had pharmaceuticals, advanced instruments, manufactured housing, now RVs, and there's this tendency for them to kind of come and go, you know, as a just large phase of the economy. Versus now what we're wanting to do, and this is part of the intangible, I think, aspect of things as well. I like to imagine that if we're doing a really good job at economic development, we work with our local current businesses. We take a look at the skills that are, you know, really needed for those jobs and the skills that our workforce has, and we identify those competencies. And then we develop career paths where people can start at one place and they can evolve to another. And then we take those competencies and we begin to identify the other industries that those competencies easily translate to.
Have a question from the audience?
Yes, hi, my name is Terry Mark, and I have two daughters who are in high school and will soon be graduating, and I would love for them to make their careers here. So how would you sell my daughters on what Elkhart County has?
If we think regionally, it's this community of 500,000 people with a world-class research university that it allows us that opportunity to be engaged with Notre Dame. And it has all the arts and culture, but it has none of the inconvenience of when I lived in Los Angeles and New York, where it took me an hour and a half and I had to spend $1.8 million to buy a home that looks like the home that I live in today for a fifth of that price. So this community has all of the best features of a large city, and it has all the convenience of a small town.
Very good. Great question. Mayor, I'll give you the last word. As you look ahead, challenges, opportunities, the momentum you see building now?
I do. I think the opportunity and the options for the city of Elkhart are just simply limitless. We're not going to give up. We're going to continue to set the bar higher. We want to have the roughly 10,000 jobs that we can't get filled right now because we have a labor shortage filled. And I think we're just going to continue to see more business expansion as well as new businesses coming to the city of Elkhart and Elkhart County.
All right, very good. Elkhart Mayor Tim Neese, also Shelley Moore, the founder and president of Insight Strategic Concepts. Pete McCown is the president of the Community Foundation of Elkhart County. Thank you, one and all,
Thank you
for being here. And we'll be right back after this.